Hello guys, and welcome to another story. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more captivating stories. Now let's dive right in. The hum of the airplane engines was a soothing backdrop to Jane's swirling thoughts. She glanced out the window, watching as the clouds gave way to the sprawling cityscape of Seoul, South Korea. The vast metropolis stretched as far as her eyes could see, a glittering labyrinth of skyscrapers, neon lights, and bustling streets. Jane adjusted her seatbelt, her palms damp with nervous sweat. The gravity of her decision to leave Ghana hit her again like a wave. She had always been ambitious, but this opportunity felt surreal. Out of hundreds of applicants, Star One Entertainment, one of South Korea's top entertainment companies, had chosen her to be the personal assistant to their biggest star, Joo Seokjin. The name alone carried weight in the global music industry. Joo Seokjin wasn't just an idol, he was a phenomenon. Known for his captivating voice, jaw-dropping dance moves, and magnetic charm, he had millions of fans worldwide. Managing his life and schedule was going to be a challenge, but Jane was ready. Or at least she hoped she was. As the plane began its descent, Jane braced herself, silently reciting the words of encouragement her family had given her before she left. They believed in her, and now she had to believe in herself. When the plane touched down, Jane grabbed her luggage and made her way through Incheon International Airport. The sheer size of the airport was overwhelming, but Jane moved with purpose, following the signs that led her to the arrivals section. She had prepared for this moment for months, brushing up on Korean, learning the cultural nuances, and even studying the intricacies of the K-pop industry. But none of that prepared her for the sheer scale of everything around her. "Ms. Jane." Jane turned to see a sharply dressed man holding a sign with her name. He introduced himself as Min, her liaison at Star One Entertainment. His expression was polite but businesslike, a reflection of the efficient professionalism that defined the industry. "The car is waiting. Welcome to Seoul." Min led her outside, where a sleek black car was waiting. The city was alive with activity. Cars zipped past, neon signs flickered, and the chatter of pedestrians filled the air. Jane couldn't help but marvel at the energy of it all as the car pulled into traffic, heading toward the heart of the city. The Star One Entertainment headquarters was a sleek, futuristic building in the heart of Gangnam. Its glass facade reflected the sun, giving it an almost otherworldly glow. As Jane stepped inside, she was immediately struck by the energy of the place. Trainees hurried past with dance shoes slung over their shoulders, managers barked orders into phones, and the distant thrum of music filled the air. Min led her through a labyrinth of corridors until they reached a conference room. Inside, a group of people sat at a long table, each absorbed in their own work. "Everyone, this is Jane," Min announced. "She'll be assisting Seokjin from today." The group gave her a quick glance, some offering polite nods while others barely acknowledged her. Jane felt a pang of self-consciousness. She was the only black person in the room, and the weight of being an outsider was palpable. But she straightened her back, meeting their gazes with quiet confidence. "Thank you for having me," she said in clear Korean. "I look forward to working with all of you." A few eyebrows lifted in surprise at her fluent pronunciation, and Min gave her an approving nod. "You'll meet Seokjin shortly," Min said, leading her down another hallway. "He's particular, but you'll get used to it." Joo Seokjin's private lounge was a world unto itself. The walls were lined with awards and photographs documenting his illustrious career. Plush furniture and state-of-the-art equipment filled the space, creating an atmosphere of understated luxury. Seokjin himself was seated on a couch, scrolling through his phone. When Jane entered, he glanced up, his expression unreadable. He was even more striking in person, flawless skin, sharp features, and an effortless charisma that seemed to radiate from him. "This is Jane," Min said. "She's your new assistant." Seokjin set his phone down and studied her for a moment. "You're the one they hired from Ghana?" "Yes," Jane replied, keeping her tone professional. "It's an honor to work with you, Mr. Joo." He raised an eyebrow. "We'll see if you can keep up. My schedule isn't exactly forgiving." "I'm ready for the challenge," she said, meeting his gaze without flinching. Something flickered in his expression, approval, perhaps, but it was gone as quickly as it appeared. "Let's start with tomorrow's agenda," he said, turning back to his phone. The rest of the day was a whirlwind. Jane shadowed Seokjin as he moved through his packed schedule. First was a rehearsal, where she stood on the sidelines, taking meticulous notes as the choreographer directed his backup dancers. The intensity of the practice was daunting, but Jane focused on observing every detail, knowing she would need this information later. Next came a photo shoot for a luxury fashion brand. The studio buzzed with activity as stylists adjusted Seokjin's look and photographers experimented with lighting. Jane took note of the feedback given during the session, making mental notes about what worked and what didn't. Later, she sat in on a PR meeting where the team strategized for Seokjin's upcoming album launch. When they struggled to appeal to international fans, Jane hesitantly offered a suggestion: a behind-the-scenes video diary. Her idea was met with approval, earning her a few nods of respect from the team. By the time the day ended, Jane's mind was spinning. She had kept up with Seokjin's grueling pace, but the weight of her responsibilities was beginning to settle in. Sitting at her small desk later that evening, Jane reviewed the day's notes and prepared for tomorrow. Her muscles ached, and her eyes burned from staring at screens all day, but she reminded herself why she had come this far. Seokjin might be skeptical of her now, but she was determined to prove that she belonged in his world. Tomorrow, the real work would begin. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.